want to ask every parent watching this video one simple question. Have you ever tried to help your son only to hear, guys, y'all know I'm fine. Leave me alone. I got it. I don't need no help. You just don't understand, Mom. You just don't understand, Dad. And if I'm being honest, sometimes that rejection hurts. It is very, very uncomfortable to say the least. Because here you are trying to help him, and you're sacrificing everything to be there for him and to provide all that he needs. And you're on top of praying for him every day, trying to see this change in his shift. And you're showing up for him, giving everything you got, dealing with the things you're dealing with. But somehow he continues to push you and me away. Yeah. What if I told you, think about this, he's not rejecting you. What if he's protecting something internal that he doesn't want to put on your plate? Like, you see, boys learn very early that vulnerability can be very risky and unsustainable. Somewhere along the way, many boys begin believing that if I talk about things, people are going to look at me different. If I struggle, I'm weak. If I cry, I'm already feel like I'm weak, but then nobody's going to respect me. If I need help, I'm really weak. And everything I'm feeling now is coming to light. So instead of asking for help, they learn something so much more dangerous that I never even thought about. They learn how to suffer in silence. That was me in 2011 with my grandparents' transition. Parents, don't miss this because it's very important. That silence isn't always strength. What if I told you that silence is really survival? Sometimes boys are masters at pretending that everything is okay. Y'all know, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. They're smiling at school. They're still showing up to that game. They're still going hard in sports. Y'all know we love sports and video games. They still hanging out with the same friends, being goofy online and posting. And doing the little social media dances that we all see them doing. Laughing and joking. All the above, right? Things seem normal on the surface, but internally, while privately, they are struggling with rejection. They are struggling and battling those internal insecurities and fear. Don't get me started on loneliness and the lack of purpose and significance in life. But here's the Kingmaker principle that I want to leave with you guys and also share, right? Boys don't just reject the help. They reject the feeling of being helplessness. And that's a difference, guys. Think about it. Most boys would rather suffer privately than to ever feel exposed publicly. Who am I talking to right now? Which means that every time they say I'm fine and I used to be the I'm fine person, I'm okay, you should try to hear or train your brain to hear that I don't know how to explain what's happening right now inside of me, but every time that I say that, that leave me alone, I'm okay, Mom, I don't want to talk about it right now. Sometimes that's really cold, guys. Remember, that's really cold for them saying, please don't give up on me. Just give me a minute and just sit with me. That's what they're experiencing. So boys aren't always pushing us away. Sometimes it's really a cry for help and they don't know how to communicate these things. Sometimes they're actually saying to us, stay, Mom, I need you. Stay, Dad, I need you. I just need a minute. And I don't know really how to say what I need to say in this moment. And those things that we kind of forget about, that we can lose them in the process of those teenage years, the rocky years, that downward hill roller coaster part of life, that they just don't know how to communicate properly. But in part 2, guys, I'm going to share with you more detail on how to identify these things, solutions to fix them, and in ways that we can position our young men to be better self-sufficient leaders and do better with conflict resolution, and also how to communicate these issues when they feel them so they don't suffer in silence. So guys, stay tuned. In part 2, we're going to dive a little bit deeper, and I'm going to give you all the tools, tips, and strategy to be your best so we can equip our young men. Let me encourage every parent that might be watching today, wherever you are in the world. I want you to never allow a temporary behavior to determine your permanent commitment to your son, regardless of what he's going through and what he's showing you. I want you to keep showing up. And I want you to keep loving him, because I know you're not going to stop it. Sometimes it can be difficult. And I want you to keep leading him, and definitely keep praying for him, because that's extremely important, right? We have to pray, because one conversation can change, guys, everything. Here's where I believe many parents are unintentionally making the mistakes of getting frustrated when our young men won't act how we want them to act, right? We lose that connection because what feels like rejection to them, we see as defiance. But leadership pursues the relationship regardless of how it feels, right? So I want you to continue asking this simple question, guys. I want you to continue to listen. And I want you to continue sitting beside him and being patient with him, understanding that he doesn't know how to emotionally communicate certain things all the time. And I want you to show interest in what matters to him. I repeat, show interest to what matters to him. And continue speaking life over him, encouraging him, positive reinforcements to be exact. Because boys borrow our beliefs before they actually develop them on their own. And that's so powerful as well as critical. So never forget that, parents. Never forget that, mentors. One encouraging conversation from you could become the foundation that builds upon his life forever, right? When he expecting you to go off in World War III, you show up. Here's something I've learned from mentoring young men for many years now, coaching on different levels as well as academic and athletically. The boys who are often the hardest to reach are usually the one hurting to most. Trying to be funny in the classroom, not doing as well as they could in school. They're not difficult. They're just disappointed. And they don't know how to explain that sometimes. And that's what a disconnect is. And they're definitely not weak, but sometimes they can be wounded. And that's why they're suffering in silence. And most importantly, guys, they are not hopeless. They're just in a stage of development, right? So parents, don't stop showing up for your sons. Don't stop believing them. Don't think it's ever hopeless or they have no hope. And don't stop leading them, because this is the point in their lives when they need us the most. Because your son is becoming somebody, and that person that we've been investing in for years, he's becoming that husband, not yet, which is in seed form. He's becoming that father, which is in seed form. And he's becoming that leader, guys, that we all see and envision inside of him, which is also seed form. And he's becoming a future mentor, doing his work himself in seed form. He's becoming a great man, guys. But it's in seed form that has to be planted. And great men aren't developed in perfect moments. It's developed in moments where someone is willing to refuse to give up on him and invest in them, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what they're showing. So if your son is rejecting help today, don't lose hope. I want you to stay fighting, stay in the fight. Surround yourself with, like what I talk about as a cell team. Keep building those bridges. Let him know you're a safe space. Keep building that trust. Oh, what about that one? Keep building that trust so that you can make those lasting connections, guys. Because sometimes, I repeat, sometimes that breakthrough you've been praying for is waiting on one more conversation. Are you willing to push past your feelings and emotions? So remember this. The boys who push us away the hardest sometimes are the ones that silently hoping that we will stay the longest. And this is something I had to learn from experience, but I'm blessed to be able to tell you guys from experience, because we're not simply raising boys. We are raising future great men and leaders of tomorrow. So next week in this discussion, guys, we're going to go even deeper, because I promise you there's always going to be more. You guys know it. In that hidden battle of young men fighting in silence, I just believe that it's going to change, and we can become the most important. So in the next episode, guys, in this season, we're going to tap more into how do we help our young men develop the right emotional control, the ability to communicate effectively with their peers as well as adult, right? And one of my most important favorite, I feel like, especially in today's time of social media, something that we don't talk about enough, something that we don't develop in our young men enough, is conflict resolution, decision making one-on-one. AKA, like my grandma used to tell me, son, you got to use your head for more than a hat rack. Yeah, it's that. Right? We fancy today, right? We're modern, right? We got some academia behind me. We got some plaques on the wall, and we call it conflict resolution. But it's simply like our elders used to say, not using your head for a hat rack, and being able to think critically, to be able to use your whole brain, to be able to take some deep breaths and get more oxygen to your brain and throughout your body, so you can make those powerful decisions when the moment calls for it. So you're not always just emotionally reacting. Y'all know we do it. Even as adults, we still struggle sometimes not to be emotional reacting to everything, but being able to mentally respond. And even myself as a thought leader, as an educator, as a mentor, youth leadership architect, I still have to practice these habits and discipline daily. Of being a critical thinker, of mentally responding and not overly reacting erratically sometimes. But guys, watch this. We can model it, we can practice it, and then we can help discipline and developing our young men. But it takes time, and it takes us not giving up and trusting that they're not pushing you away, guys. They're not pushing us away. I promise you they're not. They just don't know how to emotionally express what they're dealing with without feeling like they are their insecurities. Me growing up, guys, I'll give you a little piece of my story. What really got me into this work is I was the youngest of 3 boys raised by a single parent mom. And my childhood was good, but lonely. My mom would work second shifts, third shift, sometimes first shift. Sometimes she would work triple shift just to be able to pay bills, just to be able to sustain a life for us, just to be able to provide for her, because she was doing everything by herself because my dad wasn't there. But in that process, guys, I started getting into a lot of trouble. I started selling drugs. I started hanging with the wrong people. And I was definitely on the path to destruction. But I think one of the things that really, I don't think I know. One of the pivotal moments in my life that I had coaches, football coaches, because I was always into sports, that never gave up on me, was willing to take the time to invest in me. And even though I was still doing the exact opposite of what they was telling me to do, when I know they cared for me and really wanted to help me, deep down inside, I know I needed to make some changes and I needed to start making better decisions. But it was them, coaches, teachers, leaders, pastors, mentors that I have on this process, on this journey, that has helped develop me into the man that I am now, so that I can reach back and help your sons, to help our sons, because they're not just your sons, they're our sons. They're part of our ecosystem and community that's going to make this world better and greater, from Black and brown and Hispanic people and white males and all over the world, right? Color doesn't determine anything, but right, they are our sons. And so that's why I love this work. I am dedicated to this work, and I'm never going to stop, right? Because I realized I had great people to invest in me. And so I know how to pull those emotional heartstrings of young men to show them their true identity and help them to understand that you're not broken and you're not weak, and you definitely are fixable. Your body just going through a lot of change. Mentally, you're all over the place. And then psychologically, you never even seen what a real man looks like for most young men. Because if you're looking at social media to define what a man is, you've already lost. Because they don't even know what it is. Look at their results and look at their actions. And being a man is not a title, guys. It's a position. It's being in authority because you're under authority. And that authority is Jesus Christ, the Lord, the Most High. And even then, it's not being of age. It's not having a male genitalia. It's about serving. It's about providing. It's about giving. It's about helping. And it's about empowering others. That's the makeup of a man. It's the master of all nature. But our young people don't know that. And now young men are struggling with those identity and the self-reality of what this position requires. But parents, I got you. I am a part of your success team. So I can't wait to serve you guys. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next.